Welcome to another episode of Done is Better Than Perfect. I'm your host, John Grubbs. Welcome to the show. Now, for those of you who have been following this YouTube channel for a while, you may not be used to this scruff that you see here, but let me give you a little background. I made a commitment to my youngest son that I would, during the quarantine, refrain from shaving for the month of April. So I had no idea it was going to be this light or this gray, but I'm honoring that commitment to my youngest son, Parker. So today's show is about COVID-19. Are you going to be bitter or better as a result of this pandemic? And I am reminded by so many wise people that we are defined by the difficult moments in our lives. And our response to adversity, well, it's the pivot point in life. And we can pivot to bitterness or we can pivot to betterment. And it's always our choice. And like many others, I watched my 18-year business lose 95% of its revenue in less than a month. And I felt helpless to make a difference. I felt trapped by frustration. I was pissed off. And now I'm just sad. But as I processed this, as I went through the stages of grieving normalcy, I remembered this quote from Winston Churchill. And he said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And I want you to know that our emotional response during difficult times is normal. It's normal to feel the way you feel. And we're all in different stages of grieving the recent normal that was in our lives. And it was just weeks ago that things were completely different than they are now. And we can wallow in the muck or we can look to the future. We can use difficulty to make ourselves and our businesses better. And we can face this virus like a time-released opportunity to reset success in our lives and in our businesses. And failure caused by this pandemic is never permanent. And we can choose to rise above this reality and be better. We can choose growth. And here's the big thing: we can win. We can win. And every experience in life is a lesson. And this pandemic is imposing it's the most expensive tuition I've ever paid on us personally and professionally. And we can reset our lives and begin again more intelligently. And I love this. Failure is our teacher, not our undertaker. Failure is our teacher, not our undertaker. And while we're in pause, this is a detour, not a dead end. And we are being rerouted to something better. And I have confidence in the entrepreneurial mind and spirit. I listened to the governor of Texas speak about an hour ago, and he talked about the creativity of the entrepreneur, how restaurants are going to and already have started rethinking how they do business. And I believe in that spirit, and that we can't allow past success to get to our head any more than we can allow temporary failure to go to our heart. And we are in a period of darkness that obscures the light in our lives. And the light remains if we choose to see it and welcome it back. And once we see the light, anything becomes possible. And we cannot listen to the negatives in our lives, the do nots, the should nots, or the worst of all, the should haves. Instead, we need to listen to the potentials in our lives, the will do's, the going to's, the will haves. And the best views in life come after the hardest climbs. And we're climbing out of a big hole. We are going to recover. And if we change the way we look at things, they actually change. In other words, if we change our perspective on things, they actually change. And this virus is going to have its way with us. It's going to have its way with us as we fight to regain normalcy. And we are in a fight. And we must fight to succeed. But thankfully, persistence is on our side. And we will persevere no matter what. Difficult times do not last. People that don't quit, however, well, they're the ones that survive and thrive. And we cannot change the beginning of this pandemic, but we can change how it ends. We can be strong now as we prepare for the next phase of our lives or the next phase of our businesses. I was just talking to someone earlier about how many businesses are going to have to pivot to something different, whether it be temporarily or permanently. So we need to be thinking about our pivot, and we shouldn't forget this experience. We should embrace it, and embrace it for the betterment we're going to experience. Embrace it for the scars that are on our minds and our hearts, and embrace it for the strength that it creates within each of us, and embrace it for not giving up, and embrace it for our faith in the future. Don't allow this virus to happen to you. Make it happen for you. Look for positivity. And don't laugh, but I am reminded of the lyrics to the $6 Million Man. And boy, does that date me. And some of you are thinking, I have never heard of the television show, The $6 Million Man. But it was one of my favorite shows from my childhood. Now listen to the parallel for the $6 Million Man, the lyrics to the opening song, and our business. Here it goes. Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster. Those are the actual lyrics to the song to the beginning of that television show. And what I believe is we can adopt that mindset for our business. We will rebuild stronger and better than before. Listen to this. The darkest hour has only 60 minutes. The darkest month has only 31 days. And if you think in business terms, the darkest quarter, this may be the darkest quarter I've ever had in my business, has only 3 months. We can embrace the suck. And we know it's not going to be easy. And think about your role. If you're in a leadership role, your words of encouragement will be the spark for others. Your words of encouragement will be the most important voice in your own minds. Consider this time. Consider this virus as a test of your will to succeed. And I want you to be willing to fight for your next opportunity. Every person started as a child, and every business started as an idea. Don't quit. Endure the pain and live the rest of your life as a winner. Now, here's a funny story. When I was in the Army and living in Hawaii, yes, don't judge me, we experienced Hurricane Iniki. And Hurricane Iniki, well, it was named after the Hawaiian word meaning strong and piercing wind. That's what Iniki means. And it was one of the most powerful hurricanes to ever strike the United States and the state of Hawaii in recorded history. And get this, on September 11th, that date, September 11th, 1992, at its peak intensity, it had sustained winds of 145 miles an hour. And it gusted, can you imagine? It gusted to 225 miles an hour. And for many years afterwards, I wore a t-shirt that read, "I survived Hurricane Iniki." So, believe it or not, you too are going to be proud you survived this pandemic. You're going to be proud your business survived. You will be stronger. You are not identified by this crisis. You are identified by your response to it. You are a fighter, and you will not give up now. Listen, Just say ouch and move the hell on. You are the only limit for your future. And at the end of this crisis, the journey will be what mattered most. So keep your heads up. Keep your heads up. God gives the strongest battles, the hardest battles, to the strongest soldiers. So acknowledge your pain. Acknowledge the pain you're feeling now so you can compare it to the joy that is coming soon. This storm will make your roots deeper. This storm will make your values stronger. This storm will make your love better. Make today the beginning of your journey to better. And get this, you are allowed to scream. You're allowed to be angry. You're even allowed to cry. But you are not allowed to give up. Suck it up, Buttercup. Do not allow bitterness to be your outcome. Hard times reveal the character in both individuals and, well, teams. What's the character of your team? It is being revealed during this crisis. And you may discover that you have the wrong people in your circle or on your team. Or you may discover that you are missing the right people in your circle and on your team. So do not allow others to negatively impact your inner voice. Choose instead to be better. Now, if you've enjoyed this show, I want you to share it with people all over. I want you to slam the bell to get notifications when we put out a new show. I want you to have this as a way of making not only yourselves but others better. So remember, on this show, we live by the mantra that done is better than perfect. Your recovery is not going to be perfect. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to stumble. You're going to try things that don't work. But folks, getting it done, one step at a time, one day at a time. Focus on being better. Until next time.